Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today's tip 321, and I'm calling it Maybe I'm Where I'm Supposed to Be. And it's kind of come from this book by Lisa Nichols. I was talking about her recently. She does Abundance Now, and she's the woman that lived in Los Angeles and struggled and ended up doing community centers, and then she became so well known. She's I'm not exactly sure financial wealth, but she's very, very wealthy, and she has multiple companies under her, and she's a motivational speaker. Well, she also has this book called Living Proof, celebrating the gifts that came wrapped in sandpaper. But really, I think it's in how we look at things. We don't want to look at life as sandpaper. We want to look at life as we're at a certain point in time, make the most of the situation we're in, and then just move forward from there. And I thought it was really interesting because Lisa Nichols, if you listen to any of her work, and again, her book is Abundance Now. Well, hi, Joan. I can see a couple people on. Good morning. Much of what Lisa Nichols did is she was in a struggling part of Los Angeles. She was a single mom. She was trying to figure out how to make her life work and provide something more for her son. Kind of in one of the TED Talks, she talked about that it got to a point where she couldn't afford diapers, and she was using, kitchen towels or whatever and she looked at her son and said, I promise, this is the last time. And she kind of built a network of trying to help young teens in the inner city, and then she evolved into like self-help and writing books. And I mentioned the other day she wrote a book for Jack Canfield, which is Chicken Soup for the Soul. But it's kind of interesting because through her life, she's gathered information on other people. And I've read a couple of these short stories about, they're inspirational stories about what she's calling 39 Extraordinary Champions. And she was kind of explaining that when you look at somebody's life, all lives have struggle. And it does make us sometimes wonder why. And I think maybe too often we wonder the why of it instead of just accepting that for some reason God put us in this spot, and we just want to move forward as happy as we can be and as looking forward and as hopeful, because I think that's what pulls us into that next direction and helps us to have the momentum to make life better. That's a common theme around every successful person that I've read about, or the stories that I've seen, is that we all have those things that we struggle with, but we have to look for a way to feel good. And in looking for a way to feel good, let it propel us to things that continue to make us feel good as we continue to walk the path into the future. And this particular woman, it was kind of interesting that she was talking about, she knew she was adopted from a young age, but it was something that she never focused on. And I'm going to have to look into it. But she's talking about, I think it's a musician whose name was Arthur Prysock, and she was in college, and ironically she was in college with this Arthur Prysock's daughter, and she became friends with her and was invited to their house. So she's all excited this one day to go to this musician's house that she has always loved and her brother has loved her whole life, and her focus is on that. But when she arrives, of course, the musician is out on the road, and the mother walks into a room and drops an entire tray of food and beverages, staring at her. And she knows it's about her, and she can't figure out, why is this woman staring at her? And basically what ends up coming out is that this woman was friends with her biological mother. And she found out that her biological mother was somebody that she thought was her god sister throughout her life. And she became angry, and she became resentful, and she became unhappy. And what ended up happening is when she's finally started to just try to find comfort and understand that it's easy to look on the outside and think you understand what's going on the inside with somebody. Sometimes you have to step back because situations are different. I can see things differently now, and I understand situations even with my own family, because on one side of my family, I'm second generation. My great-grandparents immigrated here on both sides, on one side of my family. So I can kind of see where some of their mannerisms and some of the ways they lived their life were directly the result of making such a big change in their life. And I kind of am finding that same thread through these stories. And really what this woman kind of pointed out is that her mother was trying to be, her mother, basically what they kind of told this woman, or what she kind of came to terms with, is that she was born at a time that her mom was not able to take care of her, and that she chose to try to provide her a better life and tried to keep in her life by being the god sister. But what she kind of said is that what the irony of the whole situation is that the things that her mom strived to try to do in changing the world for accepting women into the workforce and opening up windows, after she got through her anger, she was able to push forward in that and become very instrumental in a professor in colleges and trying to bridge gaps and barriers. But I wonder for a lot of us, if we live in that place of not feeling good, if we live in that place of feeling victim, or if we live in that place of thinking that it's not going the way we thought it would, do we waste? We can't undo what's past, but can we today start to try to find a way to feel good about it and to make it something that puts us forward? Doc V is always talking about, he always refers to sitting on the edge of the vortex. Are you going to fall in for good stuff, or are you going to fall out for bad stuff? And I think it is true, as if you can find something to be happy about, continue to walk down the path, make your slight adjustments as you go, you will find that your life is so much better than you could have ever hoped for. But if you get stuck in this one spot and you're continually ruminating what you think isn't going right or what isn't fair, then you fall into that place of despair and low emotions and low place on the emotional scale, or the mood scale, meaning despair, worry, frustration. Or you can choose to be higher up, and then you propel yourself forward. And every story that I've read, it almost follows the same path. Either you get angry, frustrated, worry, and you never move forward, or you just accept that maybe there's something you don't know, God put you here for a reason, and you just keep moving forward in as optimistic and as hopeful and as feel-good as you can. And life feels better when you come at it from a place of feeling good. We can all see that anger, frustration, worry, anything that's a low mood or a low emotion, it tends to reduce what we can accomplish, and it just doesn't feel good. So I guess I wanted to take her 39 extraordinary champions, and I'm going to read a few more of these as time goes along, because it inspires me to see that it is our choice. Are we going to feel good and try to make more and positive choices in our life, or are we going to choose to fall into that place of not feeling good? And my hand will always reach back to help somebody up who is trying to find that place. But I just have to be careful not to get pulled back down into that place. So I hope that you find something useful. Again, I'm trying to make sure I do these lives daily, because Doc V challenged me a year ago to do them for 30 days. And then he challenged me not to stop doing them. So really, within the week, it will be 1 year since I started doing these. So I hope you find something useful. And remember, if you're at a point where you're feeling worry, frustration, sadness, try to do some, and do small incremental steps. Just try to do some positive, soothing thoughts to yourself, which is law of attraction. Do some soothing thoughts, do some prayers of appreciation, prayers of gratitude. Help yourself to feel a little bit better, because I think it will help to make better decisions. And it seems like that's a continual theme through all these inspirational stories, is that you either choose that place where you start to feel bad, or you can actually just start to self-soothe with prayers of appreciation and gratitude and affirmations, and try to move forward in a positive way. I know it sounds simplistic, and it's not always simplistic, but the constant reminder is helping me to try to remember to keep moving forward. And for you all, that's what I'd like to, for all of us to go into the next days, weeks, months, and years, grabbing on for all the best that there is out there for us to reach for. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.